Up next is McLuckie performing Liebesleid.
Something like this. This is where I think where I have an interesting issue because a composer will say, oftentimes will put piano on a piece of music, and I think in today's world, we look at that as a dynamic. We interpret it pretty much solely as a dynamic. So it's almost like our, a stereo with a volume control, that's 0 to 10, 10 being forte, and something down 1 or 2 is piano. But I think in this time period, my sense is that these composers didn't look at dynamic marking solely as a way of controlling dynamics. That oftentimes piano was used interchangeably with the word dolce. Dolce meaning what? Sweetly, right? And so the dynamic marking is not so much about the size of sound as much as it's really about the quality of sound. And so it's about how do I make this expression, right? The composer's trying to convey that they want this to be tender, they want it to have a gentle quality, and they don't want it to be forceful or strident, right? And so that's where the piano mark comes in. Now, the reason I mention this is that, and I think you would probably agree if you were kind of hearing what I was hearing, was that at times it was hard to hear you project out. And so I really wanted her to be more soloistic, not necessarily playing emotionally differently, but with a larger sound, more soloistically, right? And I was wondering, could we maybe just try that at the beginning, and just see, like, if you play out a little bit louder, if you can still keep the beautiful quality of that, which is really, emotional quality is really wonderful, to see if you can actually project out, and just listen to the piano, and you just kind of use your own judgment. You'll hear whatever sounds coming out of the piano, and you just think to yourself, well, I'm the soloist, whatever that is, I need to play, right, put myself out in front. Go ahead. So now my next question for you is this phrase, this opening phrase, where does it peak?
I think maybe right here. Or right here. I don't know.
So this
Or maybe actually right here, because this is sort of building up.
Yes.
I mean, okay.
So the good news is we're having that conversation, right? That's the great news, because we're kind of going. Because here's this phrase, and this phrase, it's kind of like you saw that Alex play the clarinet event. He had this range thing, and the range tended to actually drive his phrase. And what I'm suggesting to her is that, she's kind of letting the range create the phrase shape and direction for her. The height, what I mean by range is the tessitura. The high notes are the loud point, and lower notes are the softer point. And I'm not convinced that's the way the music works. And so I want you to be proactive and drive us harder to where you think the phrase actually kind of goes. I want to try it one more time. It's actually going all the way to that A at the end. So great to hear you play. My only, I'm not a string person, okay, as you can probably tell, right? The guy who actually knew strings, he left a long time ago. He did his one event and took off. So you stuck with me. But for me, the air is the most important thing in my instruments. I'm a wind player. And I know, you know, if I asked any string player friend of mine, they would tell me, yes, how I use the bow, that is my life, that's my sound. And I think my suggestion for you would be to really think about how you can use your bow better, produce the kinds and qualities of sounds that you want to produce. And what I mean by that is that sometimes I'll see like positioning, you know, where your bow is. Sometimes
Oh, yeah.
it'll go this way,
Yeah.
right? And all of a sudden, then the sound it gets kind of on the dull side. It's not as vibrant. And if you could be working,
Right there, yeah.
yeah, you know, and that's about kind of just doing daily practice, really getting a motion established. It's a fundamental thing. And it's for like me, every day I start off my practicing playing long tones. And it's not like I couldn't play a long tone back when I was in 7th grade. It's just every day I got to work on that because I need to reinforce what I want to have happen with my air. And I would think it would be the same thing for a string player. That every day you'd be doing this kind of action, trying to really perfect and pulling how that goes. So as you play, it becomes second nature. You don't actually think about it. It becomes a way of expressing yourself. Right? And Dr. Unziger, and the first person he clinicked, he said the very wise wisdom, which was it's about position, pressure, right, and putting all these things together to make the sound that you want it to sound. He said it better, much better than I could say. So, anyway, great to hear you today. Thank you for this lovely presentation.